All right, guys. All right, guys. It appears that it's looking pretty much official that a deal might be going down. That a deal might be going down. There's been a recent reports that Christopher Nkunku, unsurprisingly, in fairness to the player, that he has sanctioned a move. He's given the green light to Bayern Munich to pretty much come and get him from Chelsea. I mean, we Chelsea fans, we pretty much sympathize with Christopher Nkunku. I mean, it hasn't worked out for him at Chelsea. He's been nothing but a professional player for us. It just he just got on unfortunate last season with the injury that knocked him out for most of the year. He was brought on to play for Tuchel. Pretty much. I wouldn't say Tuchel per se because I think we acquired him. It was in the same year that Tuchel was fired, but it was after Tuchel was fired. But we were still playing. Potter was playing a lot of Tuchel's five at the back tactics. So that most likely still would have arguably that would have favored Nkunku because in that setup we had one striker and we had two tens, and those tens, one of those 10 positions could have easily suited Nkunku very well. If you all recall, we had Timo Werner Werner as our striker, and we had Kai Havertz as at one of the 10, and Mason Mount at the other 10 in our 3-4-3. And so that was the idea in bringing him to Chelsea. He would have cooked under that setup, right, with a platform of two sixes in midfield, like two, let's say Caicedo plus Lavia type of profile midfielders in a 3-4-3. That's the setup that would have suited him. Clearly, that's not the setup that Maresca has any in intentions of playing. It's just not going to happen, and because it's not going to happen, well then can he play the preferred setup that our current manager Maresca wants to play and has been implementing? And the answer, based on the sample size of games that we have seen so far from Nkunku, the answer clearly is no. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that the player is a bad player. He's not a bad player. He's a very good striker. He's a good forward. He's a forward that comes alive in the box. He knows where the back of the net is, but he relies on his team to basically put him in position to then do what he does inside the box. Now that's not how our forwards are in the setup. Our forwards are set up to be involved in the build up of the play, and not necessarily to wait for the end to be the final piece of the play. If you watch Jackson, you will notice that Jackson is involved. He drops into midfield. He holds up. He finds the wide players. He does a lot of running, a lot of things. He's a very good striker. Obviously, we know his issues. He's just poor in terms of finishing. That's the only thing that he's missing as of right now. Which happens to be a very big piece of the job. But even with him missing all the chances he's missing, he's still scoring. Not just because we create a lot, but because he's so active. He's so active, and he fits Maresca's philosophy very well, and that's why Jackson always looks good when he plays. Even when he's having a bad day at the office, he's still a useful player for Chelsea on the field. Whereas Nkunku has been the exact opposite of Jackson. When he's on the pitch, he doesn't not look like a useful player for us, and it's because he does not fit our manager's philosophy. And so therefore that has led us to where we are right now, which is Christopher possibly on his way to back to Germany. You recall that we got him from RB Leipzig from the Bundesliga a few years ago, and so Bayern appears to be they want him, and he wants Bayern. So then on our side, okay, who do we want? We want Bayern's young forward, Matthias Tell. I mean, I made a video about him earlier today, and I've already talked about him at great length. He's young, he's in experience, but he also has the tools. He has the tools. He has the profiles of what we are looking for in terms of not just a striker, but he's also has the versatility. He's a bit similar to Jackson. The main difference between him and Jackson is he's more or less a striker, right? He's a forward. Jackson trained as a winger, which is different. So from a mindset point of view, the way that he sees the game is different from a player that has been trained as a goal scorer, as a forward, as a striker. That's when you watch clips of Matthias Tell, you'll see that he's been trained from early on to be a striker. Now, due to his profile, due to his build, he can operate from the left wing as well. So there's some room for versatility where we can play him as a left winger, as a left forward, just where we have Sancho. And right now, Sancho is the only player that we have for that position, given the fact that Mudryk has issues with his possible drug ban that is hanging over his head. So that is where we are. The possibility of Nkunku going to Bayern and Matthias Tell coming to Chelsea the other way on possibly a swap deal. How do you guys feel about this? How do you all feel? Does this deal make sense? Should this deal go through? Do you not want this deal? Please leave your comments below. Take care. God bless you guys. Good night. Peace.